Welcome to another Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I am Benjamin, and the first thing I have to do is apologize. I've started my master's degree, and it has really been more complex than I ever expected. But I have not forgotten you guys, and I have continued to accumulate notes and make groupings and things to share with you. I'm very excited about what I have to share with you tonight after a 3-month vacation, of which 1 week was actually in the Caribbean on a cruise ship. I have put together a group of notes based on the shell theme or seashells that appear on banknotes. So I'm very excited to share these with you. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with a banknote of Vanuatu. This is a 500 Vatu, and it commemorates an event in 2017, the Vanuatu 2017. Looks like some Pacific Games or something. But anyway, what I want you guys to see, and let me get my handy dandy pointer, is that over here is a see-through feature or a window that is in the shape of a shell. It's that simple. Unexpectedly, the next note is from Bhutan. And you would think, Bhutan, isn't that in the mountains? And you wouldn't be wrong. But here on the other side here, we have a lot of things happening. We have some dragons. We have some themes that are pretty interesting to see. But if you notice here, the dragon on the left and then the dragon here on the right, they're both carrying a shell. And there you go, a shell on a banknote from a mountainous nation. We're going to move from Bhutan to elsewhere in Asia, and we're going to take a look at a 100 peso from the Philippines. And this is kind of funny. Please don't be mad at me for showing you the shell on this note. This is one of their overprint notes, and this note is literally a shell banknote. There's the symbol for Shell Oil, and it commemorates the 100th anniversary, I guess, of Shell Oil or Shell Oil exploration in the Philippines or something of that nature. It's definitely something to do some more research on. And whenever I was growing up, Shell was where we would go gas up our car. We're going to move from there to the Maldives or Maldives. I like to be exotic in my pronunciations. But here we go. We have the Maldives, and there's a kid playing soccer. It looks like there's some dancing, a giant, maybe paper mache fish. And on the back of this note, one of the most splendid seashells that you can see featured on a banknote. It's absolutely beautiful. I think this note is normally supposed to be oriented in this manner, but wow. I feel like if I look closely enough, I can see that there's some sort of critter on the inside of that shell. And I'm glad I was able to orient it that way, because the next note I have for you is from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, and it's a recent $2 commemorative. And if you look at the back of this note, here's where I believe you can see lots of shells. Let's just take a look at it. We have an angelfish. We have a sea turtle. We have another sea turtle. Lots of little fish. We have islands of maps. Maybe there's some shells here in this coral reef image. I'm trying to figure out why I included this note. You'd think the shell would be more obvious than it is. Huh. But no, I guess that... here it is. I was right. Take a look here on the face of the note. Behind the 2 is another very distinctive shell. Resembles the conchs that we saw all over as we snorkeled in the open ocean. And I have to tell you, as sunburned as I got, I had a complete blast cruising the Caribbean. I am a bit disappointed they don't do lobsters quite like they used to do before COVID. But there you go. So here we go. We have some sort of nautilus chambered seashell thingy spiral going around here. And that's pretty exotic and pretty impressive on this 50 rupees of Seychelles. A shell note on the Seychelles. Well, my terrible humor remains intact, so I apologize for that. Here's a new note from Sudan. And it's kind of an interesting note. I like the scenes of water, which I wonder if it really has water in it. The scenes of birds, it's all very nice. Then you turn it back here and you have an unexpected sea garden. And you have an offset register of a shell here. And you have corals and fish. I can almost feel the moisture on the note. I like it. It's a lovely note. We're going to move from there to Papua New Guinea. And we have a 20 kina. And I just want you to take a look at this. Can you see this on somebody's neck and going down their shoulder and down their arm? I've always thought this vignette and these markings would make awesome tattoos. And as many tattoos as I scope out and see people wearing, I've never seen anybody wearing this as a tattoo. But I really think that getting your tattoo off of the Bank of Papua New Guinea notes would certainly be interesting. There's another nice little hip note, or hip tattoo, or back shoulder blade tattoo. But if you take a look, you got a pig head, you got some cowrie shells that are appearing on this necklace. And here's a bigger shell right here. And I'm sure these little beads are probably shell beads too. But that is why this is included in this video. Moving quickly along to the Bahamas. Here I have a note that's a little bit worse for the wear, but I like it. And it is from the Bahamas. And over here we have a sand dollar. One of my favorite things as a kid, you know, a sand dollar. And, you know, I think it'd be funny to get one of these in a PCGS holder. But I suspect that this is why this note's here in this grouping. Unless we can see anything on the back of this note. Nope. I think that sand dollar is why this note was included. We're going to move from there to this banknote. And why was this note included? Certainly not for anything on this side, but when you turn the note over, you have a cotter, 1 real. And the reason this note is included is because they have a history of pearl diving. And over here we have the pearl monument, and it's a giant pearl inside a giant shell. So we've had shell as see-throughs, we've had shell as offset registers, we have shell as a statue, we've had shell in the name. In fact, we're going right back to the Seychelles for another seashell note. And here we have nothing to suggest a seashell except for the name of the country itself on this 100 rupee. But there is a turtle shell right there. Surely I didn't include it for that reason. But perhaps nope, I didn't. There's another turtle here on the back, but here along the top, we have a series of shells that look like they might be in the cowrie shell family. And this goes all the way across to the other end of the note. You see the shell there? It's part of the theme of notes that have designs that continue off of one side only to appear on the other side. Kind of a wraparound design, if it were. And let's move to this specimen note I have of Ghana. We have a 5 cedis, and you might wonder, why have we included a cedi note from Ghana in a shell theme, especially one that doesn't look like it has any shells on it? Well, because, friends, the Bank of Ghana uses as their currency a cedi, and a cedi is their name for a cowrie shell, which is prominent in their art, prominent in their jewelry, and is a shell. So their currency is actually, I guess, 5 shells. Kind of neat. Let's move to Sri Lanka. I've always enjoyed their crazy looking, colorful, and fascinating notes. Let's see what we have going on shell-wise on this 20 rupees. Nothing on this side. But here on this side, we have a lovely vertical note. And if you take a look, we have, it looks like fishermen, fish, and here at the bottom we have a number of shells. Some very exotic shells in the foreground at the bottom of this note. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We're going to move to Aruba. And I absolutely love this note. This is a 10 florin, and it's You know, it's one of their later notes. It's before they changed their design. It's a 2012, and you can see champagne bubbles all over this note. And this note is included because on the back of the note we have a, looks like a conch. And what I like about their notes is they actually have the scientific name. So this shell is actually a melangana melangana. Looks like a conch to me. Which is now, believe it or not, making me hungry. Oh my gosh. All right, let's move to a French Pacific Territory note. We have a 500 francs, and we have a lovely sea garden on this side of the note. There's fish and corals all over the front of the note. Looks like a fisherman, some boats, some islands, and some volcanic mountains in the background. And on this side we have a beach scene. We have a man with a flower in his hair. And here at the bottom of this note, we have a couple of shells that are framing the beware about beware about counterfeiting this note disclaimer right there. We got a lovely shell there. We got a lovely shell there. Moving right along to a 500,000 kwanza from Angola. And I see nothing shelly on this side of the note, but if you turn it over, we have rhinoceros, which is not why this is on that note. If you look over here to the far right, there is a lovely shell. And it looks like the shell has been carved or artistically enhanced somehow. But a lovely shell note nonetheless. And wrapping up this video on shell notes, we have an East Caribbean Currency Authority, $5. And on this side of the note, we have Her Late Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, a map. We have flying fish here in the middle section. And we have a lovely shade of green. And on the back of the note, we have this gorgeous ocean view. And I'm sure on that beach there must be little shells all over, but the reason this is included in a shell listing is because right here we have, looks like another conch shell. What do you think, people? Are there any notes that you can add to this video? I have more than 1,179 subscribers. Let's go ahead and let's keep adding subscribers. Share this video with your friends, with your teachers, with other kids that you may know, and pass the word. Share my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, cuss or discuss with me, enjoy my column in the Numismatist, a magazine published by the American Numismatic Association, and thank you for not giving up on me. I continue to create contact for you. You are why I do this. Have a jewel of a day.